Hey guys, so before I get rid of this trailer, well at least I think I'm going to get rid of it, I thought I would give you my take on it after a couple of years, about 2 years and I don't know, 3 or 4 months, something like that I've had it. I am almost sure I'm going to get rid of it. I do have a tendency to change my mind and maybe I will do that, but the reason being is that I have a gooseneck, a PJ trailer that's going to be here soon. Supposed to have arrived on Monday to the dealer I'm buying it from up in Middleville, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick it up there after they get it all set up and whatever they have to do to it later this week. And so, you know, really I'm tight on space. You can see kind of all around here that I just don't have a lot of storage space. You know, I've got this other enclosed trailer right here that I already don't use enough, and do I really need a whole other trailer just to sit around and take up space? And you know, it is already paid off, and I've kind of got it dialed in with the better tires on there now and all the service that it needs. But at the same time, I'm going to have the gooseneck. I really don't need two trailers at one time very often, and so I think I am going to be getting rid of it. I've had a lot of customers over the years that have asked me to get a hold of them if I do sell it, and I apologize, but hopefully you see this video. I do have a good friend that's also potentially interested, but I think it'll sell quickly. I don't really know what I'm going to ask for it. I have no idea. I'm just going to check the market and see. I want to be fair. It is not in perfect condition, but anyway, and maybe I change my mind and keep it anyways. But I wanted to give you my 2 cents on it since, you know, I've had it for a couple of years. Maybe put 30, 40,000 miles on it, something like that, and the good and the bad, and if I would do it again. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Good Works Tractors. From snow to mow, Good Works Tractors is the place to go. Shop goodworkstractors.com, subscribe to our channel below, like our Facebook page, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
So first off, let's start off with what this trailer is, and as you might be able to see here, it is an American hauler trailer. And so I have been to this plant where these are manufactured in northern Indiana. I can't remember if it was Elkhart or Granger or Middlebury, one of those towns that's up there. Not too far from the Michigan border. There's a ton of, it's kind of like a hotbed of trailer manufacturing, and that's not just these kinds of trailers, but campers and things like that as well. And so this is where I got that from there, and the reason I had to go to the factory was not to get the trailer. I bought that from a dealer that was up in Mason, but I actually had to get a new set of these fenders here. So, and you can see these fenders are dented that I have on here as well. These are the replacements. I do still have the originals, but I'll get into that in a little bit here. Take a look at the little data stickers or data plates here as far as the tires go, and oh, here we go on the, oops, sorry about that, on the trailer plate itself here. It's Elkhart, Indiana. That's where they are at. 2 5/16 there, you can see. Let's see, the axles 5,080 pounds each, so what you're at 10,160, I think, if I'm doing my math right. Tire size and all that kind of stuff. So you do need to subtract the weight of the trailer itself. You will see that this is actually rated for 9,990 to get you just a hair underneath the 10,000 pound limit. I am not seeing it. I thought it was on there. Maybe I'm overlooking it, the trailer weight itself. But I want to say it was like 1,700 pounds. Maybe it's on their website. I just can't remember for sure. Here we go. It says weight of the cargo should never exceed 7,900 pounds. Don't know if that's tied into subtracting the weight of the trailer from the GVWR or not, but anyway, that's the information we have there. It is a bumper pull. You know, I've got one of these Gen Y hitches that are on there. A torque hitch of some kind, supposed to make it ride nicer. I think it's worked. I've used it for so long, I don't remember what it's like not using it, so I guess maybe that skews my mind a little bit, my memory, but I've enjoyed using it. But I am looking forward to going to a gooseneck. I've heard great things and never used one. So one of the reasons I chose an aluminum trailer was the weight savings. You know, if it's a 25-30% weight savings for the same size trailer compared to a steel one, I wanted to be able to maximize that with cargo as much as possible. So that was the primary reason. Also at the time when I first purchased it, I was using my truck, but I was also using a friend's truck who had a lot lower towing capacity, and so this lighter trailer assisted with that as well. So one of the other reasons I chose to go with the American hauler is you can see the backside right here, this bar, but it's closing off the ramp storage. And so a lot of the trailers out there had ramps stored in different locations, and so on the American hauler, they're stored right here, which I find convenient. They're near the back of the trailer. They're tucked out of the way. Some of the others had ramps that were like right along the front here, you know, this way, and I felt like that was leaving them exposed when you're not using them, and also maybe more of a drag with the wind. I don't know, at least it looks like it would be. So, you know, they'd be mounted right up on a stand of some kind up here. I've seen some others that had them mounted along the side, on one side or the other. You know, and then you have your flip up kind too, where they're just hinged at the back of the ramp here and just fold all the way up like this, which again, drag is being an issue there, especially when it's empty. So I really like this design with the location of them down there. You can see here how they pull out. Okay, and these are heavy duty ramps. I see a lot of this even bigger version that are on a lot of the freight haulers that bring equipment into me on flatbed semis. And so they've got a lip right here, okay, and this lip, you just rest it right in this groove right here, okay, so that lip will fit right down in here, and you just have one on each side there. You kind of line it up with the tires, shove that back in. Now, one of my gripes are these fenders. I can't stand them. You know, they're kind of spot welded. It's not a solid weld. You can see the gap all along there. This little channel right here, angle channel I guess it is going to be bolted to the trailer in this location, and then one more in the front. You can see how it's off right here. They don't come with the holes in them from the factory when you get a replacement set of fender flares. And so the only way that we can make this all line up is this section here must have been cut differently, because the only way we could get this to line up correctly, you know, over the wheels and everything else, was to have it positioned right there. So that's why you see a difference in coloration there. But I mean, this side hasn't seen any specific abuse, and by abuse I mean contact with tractors or anything else. You can see that weld is, if I can get it to focus there, that weld right down in here is starting to crack. You know, you got split on the fender there, and then of course the obvious one right here, and it's just wiggling loose. You know, it's just tearing. You know, it's tearing the metal away, and imagine that going down the highway. Now there are tacks underneath here that you can see all along, so it's not in danger of completely falling off at this point. The other one, unfortunately, as soon as it was put on, within the week, somebody, to be named later, took a corner too sharp and did that. So that didn't help things on this one. But you know, you can see that weld there is broken again. Not as bad as the other side. I don't know if that broke when this happened. I don't really remember. But still, you have more of these splits here and tears. Don't know how that happened, but nonetheless, they're easily damaged. I guess let's put it that way. So, and yeah, you can see they're just kind of floppy, everything about them. So that's my biggest gripe about them. Well, I guess that's one of my two biggest gripes. The other gripe are the tires. The tires that came on these trailers are garbage. After replacing 3 of them, you know, I just replaced the other 2, you know, the spare and then the other one I hadn't, just because I had flats. I had flats like crazy on this thing. And so they've all been upgraded. I think they were load range D that came on here, and so they are load range E now. Don't know, I'm sure it says the ply rating somewhere on here. I'm just not seeing it at the moment. I wanted to say these were 10 ply, but yeah, it's got to be on there somewhere. But anyways, regardless, these are a big upgrade. The originals that came on there were a waste of money, and you know, made this trailer more expensive overall. You know, and I bought the spare was an upgrade, not included in the base price, and so that was an upgrade on there, which again came with that crappy tire. So I wish, in hindsight, I would not have got the spare tire on here and just bought a wheel and a spare tire on my own afterwards. You know, the whole hitch mechanism has been solid. I have had to replace these, and this was supposed to be a temporary fix here. I think I'd have put a permanent replacement on there. But overall, it's been a solid trailer. I would guess I've got 60,000 miles on this truck, you know, and probably 40,000 miles of it are towing, I would say. I have had to replace this board just recently. The whole thing popped out. You know, this is starting to show some cracks. If I can get that to focus right there, you can see that crack, okay? Take a look at this corner here as well. You see that too. All right, so and that's, you know, again, I think from the stress of when the ramps are resting on here, you know, so it's pushing down on that side there, and really reefing on it there over time. I think this is a great trailer for somebody who's not going to use it commercially. If you're just going to be using it residentially, you know, very good purpose for that. Boards, this board looks to be splitting and cracking here. I'm kind of using this as my visual inspection right now. I mean, I wouldn't say we're abusive to this trailer. We haven't overloaded it on weight at all. You know, I would say it's just typical use where we're hauling tractors, you know, 2-3 times a week. And biggest tractor would be something like that 4 Series cab right there. Those ones, 5 Series wouldn't even go on here. They're just too big. But most commonly, it's going to be like your 1025s and your 2 Series and your 3 Series. So it's about 20 foot long with a loader on there and a bush hog. On like a 3 Series tractor, your bucket's going to be just a little bit hanging over the front edge here, and your rear tire of your brush hog is going to be hanging off a little bit over here, okay? So it's taking up the whole trailer. That's the other problem. That's the reason I'm upgrading, is my new trailer is going to be 32 foot long, so it'll give you more space on there. Now tie downs, let's talk about tie downs. So you're going to have a couple up here, one in each front corner plus one in the middle, and then you're going to have another set in the back, but only 2, I think. Yeah, just 2 back here, one on each corner that you can see there, okay? These are kind of a pain in the butt, and I don't think it's specific to American Hauler, but in the wintertime especially, you know, these get snow and they kind of freeze up as it melts, and you got to chisel them out of there to get to use them again. I use the stake pockets a lot. Don't use this rub rail. It is definitely not strong enough to support tying down anything, but these stake pockets, I run my straps down through there and stake them that way as well. That's probably the most common way that I use it. One of the biggest headaches, I guess, is, again, coming back to these fender flares, is that these are typically in the way. You know, the rear axle will be somewhere in here, and you know, you got to try to either come back to here or something else, but there's no good tie down point that's right in this area. As you can see, that's pretty obvious. So when I bought this American Hauler trailer, they didn't have any rim or wheel upgrades, and so these have kind of been slowly falling apart as well. And so you'll see here that cover, the center cover there is missing right there. That fell off at some point, and you can see these trim rings that they have around here as well. They're like a plastic trim ring of some kind. They're plastic, yet they still get some kind of corrosion or whatever on there. I don't know how that happens, but anyway, you can see those there. If we go to the other side, you'll see more stuff that's missing. So this is what we have left over there, the trim. That center hub cover and the outer trim rings are gone. Everything's gone on that one. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's one of the other shortcomings that I noticed. So one of the other things I have done is actually replace the 7-pin connector on here. Took that into a local trailer dealer that's in my neck of the woods here, Premier Custom Trailers. That's on 131 in Schoolcraft, and they cut off the OEM, the factory 7-pin connector, and put on this aftermarket one. I was having a lot of problems with loose connection, and you know, I still have problems on occasion, and so I don't know if it's attributed to this aftermarket 7-pin connector or if it's the truck side. I just haven't really been able to fully decipher which one is causing the problems, but anyway, that's something else that I have done. So one of the things that is a pain in the butt in the winter is I leave this tractor outside, and I am not saying that this is related to American Hauler, but this is just due to the slight dovetail, this 2-foot dovetail here, that it will get coated with packed snow and ice right on this little ramp here, and it is, even in 4-wheel drive, it can be tough to get a tractor up here. It just sits and spins and spins and spins, and when it gets up here, so I'll put some salt on there when needed to get it up there. This trailer though is light enough where, you know, if I don't back up perfectly right to the ball, you know, I'll leave this jack stand resting on. You can see that cinder block over there, and so that's what I'll have it resting on. But if I don't back up just perfectly, even though I have the camera, you know, I guess that points to my horrible backing up skills. But I can get close enough here, and I know that this trailer is light enough where I can literally just grab a hold of it and just push it one way or another, or pull it forward or backwards, where, you know, the bigger trailers and steel trailers, it's a lot tougher to do that, especially when you get larger trailers. So this is 20 foot again, and I'm able to do that with this, I think primarily because it's aluminum. So I have decided I am going to sell the trailer. I really have gone back and forth. You know, it's paid off. It's got all the good tires on there now. It's kind of just a good one to have, and I don't always need a big gooseneck. However, again, storage is probably the biggest consideration, and two, you know, I have my enclosed trailer over here, and, you know, I bought that because I do like to haul enclosed in the wintertime a lot, but I can only go as large as a 3 series in there. However, I use that trailer probably, I don't know, I can count on both hands how many times I use that per year. And so do I really want another trailer that's just hanging around where I'm only using it very sporadically, where it's taking up a lot of space, where maybe just sitting in the lot here exposed is not good for it, being out in the elements all the time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it as it is. I don't really want to dump any more money into it, but, you know, I have no problem being upfront with its shortcomings, you know, like on the fenders and anything else that you may see on here. But that being said, it's a used trailer. I haven't abused it. I've just used it as it should be used. So I'll go ahead and show you these ramps, how they pull out and how they're actually installed there. That way you can see that as well. But so if you're in the market and you want to potentially buy this trailer, let me know. I have had quite a few people over the years that are interested in it. I have not really decided what I'm going to sell it for yet. I think I had a little bit over 5,000 into it new. I want to say it was like 5,200 into it new, but I think that included tax and the spare tire. You know, again, I've replaced all the tires on it, that kind of thing as well, but it's a couple years old and it's got some wear on it. So it's not in perfect condition by any means, but I think it would make a great trailer for somebody who is going to use it sporadically. It's not going to rust. I guess that's one of the other reasons that I got the aluminum is I'd had a lot of steel trailers and they were rusting continuously, and it just bothered the heck out of me. But here I am going back to a steel trailer, and it's going to have, I did pay extra to have a primer coat put on first instead of underneath the powder coat. And you could only do that out of one factory. I think it was down in Texas, and so actually it's costing me more not just to have the primer put on, but also the additional freight versus coming from one of their more northern factories where freight would have been cheaper to get it up here. But I thought that might be worth it, and we'll see. I guess time will tell. So these really are a piece of cake, and again, the one end has the slot there where you're just going to put it right into the back of the trailer. The other end is tapered. You know, now I typically try to put the tapered end in back into the storage position first. That way you can have something to grab onto when you try to pull the actual ramp out. So it's really as simple as that. They're not too heavy, they're pretty manageable. You know, I mean, I've got my retirees, father-in-law, and my family friend that helped me out, and they handled this no problem. I do think that they're going to benefit and enjoy the flip over ramps more than having to haul these things in and out all the time. But either way, this isn't a very challenging job. You know, you kind of find your sweet spot, especially if you're just going to be loading and unloading the same piece of equipment all the time. So you know, you can see here there's darker gray areas where I drive my tractors on and off for the most part. You could always just put kind of hash marks for 2, 3, 4, 5 foot or whatever you want to do to indicate where to put those ramps as well on there. But typically after you use it a few times, you have a pretty good idea of where to place these ramps. So reversing the process is just as easy. So I guess if I were to give my recommendation on whether or not I would recommend a American hauler trailer to anyone else, I would say yeah. I would say if you're using it residentially, just for occasional use, not everyday use, I really think it's a fantastic trailer. You know, you have the aluminum, so you're saving weight. It's not going to corrode and rust like a steel one would. You know, overall it's built really well. I think it's got a few issues, but I'm pretty sure that every trailer manufacturer out there is going to have some kind of shortcoming, and so I'm just pointing these out after a couple of years of use. I like the stake pockets that are all the way up and down the side. I like the location of the spare tire that's up there in front. Love the location of the ramp storage in the back there. You know, it's got a lot of good things going for it. You know, aluminum trailers are pricier than steel, but you get what you pay for, and overall I was happy with the decision and the good couple of years that it gave me. So again, trailer tires, I would see if your individual dealers where you buy these from can upgrade those right off the bat. Otherwise, you know, try to spend as little as you can on tires. Maybe don't get a spare right away and then just pick that up afterwards so you can get a good one. So thanks so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, check out my other videos, and we'll see you on the next one.